there is a weird disconnect between explaining the philosophy and living it. So Soundbox is an event where people come and there's already a whole stage of instruments set up. So Soundbox is an event where we set up all the instruments and several microphones, and anyone who wants to can play any of those instruments. The only true requirement is that they play with someone else. And there's no songs, there's no preordained performances. So everything is just made up for each other. Soundbox is an event where we put all the instruments out there and everyone tries to play music for and with each other. Do you like that?
That'd be great if I just let that in.
Yeah. Do you like that? I mean, come on. We set the shit up and you can come play it if you want to. You see what I mean? Like
everywhere, and here they are, in your face, and they're about to blow the top off of Sonic.
So, and it is very important to me. Like, it's not just a little thing. It's a statement about what I think the world needs. You are infinite and valuable, and that your perspective is one that no one else has and has something that I can't have. If you play bass to whatever level, if I have a chord progression, I don't know what you're going to play. Like, and that is the beauty of a human being, is they create things out of nothing.
Me and Chase, I actually know him through Griffin because we met at Summit Seltzer. It was like their third or fourth week of doing it there, the open mic jams. And Griffin actually introduced me to the Soundbox, and I was like, that's really cool. I mean, I'll check it out, because I previously had no familiarity with jamming with other people besides when I went to UNCC. We'd have some jam sessions sometimes out in the Alumni Pavilion, and those are pretty rough and raw.
I'm Griffin. I am a member of the Briarcliff community here now. Privileged to know Chase. I feel like I've gotten a lot out of just knowing him and coming to the events that he sets up. I met him at Tommy's Pub with my buddy Quinn.
Once I got out the Navy in August of last year, and I came back to Charlotte, and like besides like my sister and my dad, the only other person I knew was Griffin. And we used to play in like a middle school garage band. Never left the actual garage, but you know, it was just a fun time just to muck around with somebody else. And then when I came back to Charlotte, he was like, "Hey man, let's go play some music, dude. Let's just jam out for a little bit, like catch up."
Trying to explore more of the open mic scenes in Charlotte, getting our feet wet in terms of musical performance, which I have a few years of music experience and a few years of playing with other people, but not as much experience playing on stage.
All right. We're going to start some kind of random here. Javier, play something random. Okay. Platinum, you want in on this? I know you got something in you. I could just feel that song that was in your heart. Feel that song that was in your heart. It was trying to burst forth into being.
I remember I was sitting at the bar, and then some weirdo came up to me. It was like, "Hey, can you string this A string on this guitar?" And the first thing I thought was, one, how does this weirdo know I know how to play the guitar? Two, who's this weirdo asking me to go and like work right now? Man, I'm trying to drink. And then that was Chase. And then after that, he was like, "You guys are gonna play some music?" I was like, "Sure." We played like 2 songs, and then he ended up having me play bass for like all these strangers.
It was really cool. I was obviously nervous at first going up there to the open mic jam and just playing for the first time. It's just a surreal experience because you have people who are out there like looking for music, listening to just live music, and it's something it's like I'm not used to playing in front of an audience. So it's definitely nerve wracking, but you get to do it a couple more times. You practice more and more, and you become more familiar with that setting and environment. It's just, you get used to it, and it's honestly like a liberating experience to kind of just play. So definitely have Chase to thank for that in the Soundbox.
Dual guitar vamping. We're going to get started here in just a little bit. I'm Chase. We have this production company, my wife and I. This is our head of design, Justin. We're doing a little bit of a documentary today in between playing some music for all y'all. And I'm excited. The cool thing about Briarcliff shows is even though I'm running it, I still don't know what's going to happen. I just put a few good songwriters out here, a few good musicians, and let them show me what's what, So it's a good time. We're at the music of here and now. How about it?
So why do I bring all the instruments to the Soundbox? Because people don't have stuff. I mean, the majority of, the time I was wrestling, like my guitar was in and out of the pawn shop. It was like, oh, there's an AJ Styles seminar. I need to go do that for my career, which isn't paying me enough to actually afford it. So let me go pawn my guitar that I bought with the student loan money I got getting a degree in philosophy. You see the problems here. So like whatever I tried to do, I realized there was a huge upfront cost that was astronomical. And so, but there's so many people who, if they were given the chance to play an instrument, they could do well at it, but they just don't have them to play. And then, we're in a city, people live in apartments. And, one thing I've been fortunate to be able to do is to always have a space where I could have a band practice somehow or another. And so, like, to not have that, is an amazing disservice to human potential.
Made time, stole time for it, really. I went out to Tommy's Pub. I used to sneak out of work. I was working third shift. I was sneaking out of work to go up to Tommy's Pub, and it was a whole different thing. It wasn't just open mic, He was really producing the vibe. That's the best way I could describe it. He was producing the vibe of the whole room, and he would, pick people out of the audience to play. I had just got there. I might have been working 12 hours that day. Got my beer and my shot in my hand. He said, "Get up on stage." It actually kept me inspired, because with my work schedule and stuff the way it was then, I wasn't able to get out nowhere.
So I think, one of the things that I found really special is that Chase was very open to talking with and inviting you into that space. And so I think that kind of set the stage for very low pressure, something where you can come in and just focus on expressing yourself as well as listening to others, which I think is it's a rare thing to find, not only in Charlotte, but any city I've been in. And so it was something that I knew I wanted to go check out. And so immediately, when I knew that he was having the Soundbox at Summit, wanted to go and experience that for myself. And from day one, it was a place where I could go and talk to other people that wanted to do the same thing, essentially play music with others.
Nobody's trying to impress me, and I'm not trying to impress nobody. That's what makes it different. And you're able to go up there, and that really allows you to be free. And when you're free, you can really flow with how you're feeling. I've pulled emotions out of my pocket that I didn't even know was bothering me. There's been times where I've looked Chase in the eye and I'm like, I need to get up there right now. Can I go up there right now and get this out? Because it was making stuff happen.
I didn't want to have the extra fluff of trying to put on a show or have the extra fluff of trying to impress somebody. It was really about finding a space that you could connect with other musicians in an environment that just wanted to foster that connection and not have more. And so I think that's been really special. And since then, developed a lot of unique connections with different friends that are also non-musicians. And so far, it's just building and growing. So I hope to see it create more of those connections and more space in the future.
Goodness is the particular relationship from one person to another. So to know what's good is to know what someone in particular needs from you. And so in Soundbox, what you do is you have someone has an idea for a bass riff, and they start playing the bass and the drums come in, and your job is to figure out what they need you to do on your guitar or with your voice. And then all of you together have to figure out what to do that will make the audience in front of you happy or sad or whatever it is you're trying to do. They need something from you to want to sit there and drink a drink and listen to your music. When you actually see someone vulnerable, someone who's on the spot and needs you, like the person playing the bass riff needs you to not just tank their whole act that they're doing. Like, you can make them look bad, and you can also make yourself look bad, but more or less you have to riff. Now that they've established a thing and it's something they genuinely want to do, you feel the pull to do the thing that complements what they're doing. But what's wonderful is they don't know what's in your head, what you think complements what they're doing. And neither of you knows what's going to happen, and neither does the audience. And so this convergence of like unknowable things creates a new truth in the moment.
It's liberating in that fact because you don't have to worry about being judged, because everyone there is kind of in the same boat as you in this weird sort of way. And you're kind of free to experiment, play what you want to play. And it's not necessarily about getting up there and playing a set piece of music. It's kind of just making things on the spot. It's like this magical, spontaneous thing that comes out of nowhere. And when you really get into it, it's like, wow, this is this is something else. So it's just a surreal feeling in general, being able to play the Soundbox with others.
It's pretty cool how we're just kind of taking over the Charlotte area and rethinking how an open mic can be done. I've done open mics in other cities and also still in Charlotte. They're like, say, Evening Muse, where it's just, hey, here it is. Play your 3 songs, here are the set rules, and just make sure you're off stage on time here. While this, I feel like it's, while it is giving you the outlet for you to play your things, it's also more of like a community building type of thing that I'm loving.
Even around, I knew music was important to me. I knew I was a musician, but I was insecure about my level of musicianship, and that insecurity around, am I good enough to perform? Would other people like me? Do I like what I'm doing? That insecurity was actually holding me back. It was shelling me in and making me feel like I didn't have the potential to move forward. And I credit a lot of this to Soundbox and meeting Chase, going to Soundbox, meeting all these people, of helping me to overcome that and actually like put it aside and realize that the insecurity it's totally in my head. I love being able to get over that part of me. It's a personal thing to me. It's not just like, enjoyment from playing music or enjoyment from socializing, but it's enjoyment from personal growth in a way that connects to, my ability to play, even meet new people, be more comfortable with who I am and where I am, music-wise. Because, I realize that, and especially going to Soundbox and you're playing against with some really talented people. And I'm not the most talented musician in the room, and that's okay, because I can use their skills to help me grow. And, I feel like everyone gets something out of it.
A lot of people will come to me, especially people who are married, and they'll be like, it's just amazing that your wife does all this along with you, or, and I definitely couldn't do it without her.
I feel like a mom. I feel like a mother figure for a lot of the artists that come in, and that's a very interesting role to be in, because for me to feel that way, I'm addressing how I've grown as an individual, and then also I'm listening to what people need. So I'm going through something within myself that requires a level of maturity that I'm not used to hearing that echo. So, but I understand the responsibility. And in some ways, it is very familiar, and I feel ready for that role because I know that I need to be someone that is responsible, that is loving. And how do you navigate that and also not know people, but know that's what they need? And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to say it's okay to be yourself.
Just the same as just the same as I talk about like putting the guitar in someone else's hands so that they can play a better solo, or that there's so much of this company that when I put it in her hands, it's so much better than it would be if it were in mine. And from the day to day, making sure people get paid, making sure the cables are organized in the bags that are in and out, it's not an easy, it's not an easy day to day. Soundbox is about an 8-hour event. When it comes from the time I start packing up the car to when we get back home, and that anyone is willing to help with that, and to be there to help me load in this equipment, because none of the musicians are there. That's not really on them, and I don't want it to be on them. But there is a lot of just work and sacrifice that goes into creating this, and but what I come back to is that sacrifice is the creation of sacred things.